Okay, if you're a parent, you know this scene all too well. You're trying to get out the door, the clock is ticking, and your child, well, they're moving at the speed of a sleepy sloth. It is so frustrating, right? Today, we're going to break down exactly why our go-to phrase, just yelling, "Hurry up," almost never, ever works.
I mean, these are practically a parenting rite of passage, aren't they? We've all said them, probably more times than we can count. And you can probably feel the desperation in your voice rising each time you say it. It just feels like the most direct way to get the message across.
And yet, this is what we get back, right? A blank stare. Or they keep playing with the toy. Maybe you get a slow, unbothered nod as they just keep doing what they were doing. It really feels like they're ignoring you on purpose. But what if that's not what's happening at all?
All right, let's really dive into this, because the solution to those frantic mornings and drawn-out bedtimes isn't about finding a better threat or a bigger reward. It's about understanding this huge disconnect in how young kids and adults see the world and how they experience time itself.
This is the absolute key to everything we're talking about today. For a child in this age range, time isn't this straight line that we can measure and manage. To them, it's more like big, shapeless fog. And until we really get that, those homework battles and morning meltdowns are just going to keep happening.
You know, we adults tend to think that managing time is just common sense, something you should just know how to do. But it's not. It's totally an invisible skill, one that has to be learned and developed over years, just like learning to read or ride a bike.
As grown-ups, we do this without even thinking. We can feel what 5 minutes is like. We can sense when we're running out of time. But for a kid, that's a super abstract idea. I mean, time isn't something you can see or touch or hold, which makes it incredibly hard for their very concrete thinking brains to wrap their heads around.
And this slide right here shows you the communication breakdown perfectly. We think we're being so clear, so specific. 20 minutes. To us, that's a defined box of time to get something done. But to a child who doesn't have that internal clock, it's just words, a random number. It's a vague idea that has no real shape or meaning.
So here's the crucial point. When our words don't create a structure they can see or feel, their brain literally doesn't know what to do with the information. This isn't them being lazy or defiant, it's a processing thing. And this lack of structure, it's one of the biggest hidden reasons for what we call procrastination in our kids.
So if it's not just about them not understanding the words, what's really going on here? To get it, we actually have to look at the biology. We got to peek inside that young, developing brain to see what's happening when we ask it to think about the future. See, managing time isn't just one skill. It's a whole team of complex brain skills called executive functions. Think of these as the brain's project manager. They let us remember things, plan out steps, think about what happens next, and this is a big one, resist distractions. In a 6 to 8-year-old, that whole system is basically a construction zone.
And because that future planning part of the brain is still developing, a child's brain is hardwired to be amazing at one thing, focusing on the here and now. The present moment is interesting and loud and real. The future, on the other hand, is like a faint, fuzzy signal that's super easy to ignore.
Which brings us to the daily battleground, right? When we ask a child to do something for some future benefit, like finish your homework so you can play later, what is that abstract idea actually competing against in their immediate world? It's competing against everything that is real, fun, and happening right now. A Lego set, a cartoon on a screen, a silly chat with a sibling. These things give them an immediate jolt of fun and engagement that the boring idea of getting homework done just can't compete with.
And this chart shows you exactly how their brain sees it. See, the brain runs on chemicals, and dopamine is the one that says, "Ooh, that feels good, do more of that." Play and screens offer this huge, immediate dopamine rush. Homework? It offers a tiny, delayed one. Biologically, it's not even a fair fight. The brain is always going to go for the bigger, faster reward. Okay, so let's pull all this together. We've talked about how time is abstract for them and how their brain is wired for the present moment, and this all leads us to the single most important, game-changing takeaway from this whole explainer.
When your child doesn't hurry up, it is almost never a calculated act of defiance. I know it feels like it sometimes, but they are not trying to make you late on purpose. They're not trying to push your buttons or challenge your authority. Seeing it that way just traps you both in a power struggle, and nobody wins those.
It's not defiance. It is biology. It's the totally predictable, totally understandable result of a brain that is still figuring out its relationship with time, a brain that's built for right now.
And that changes everything. It shifts the problem from being about discipline to being about development. It's not a character flaw you have to fix, it's a skill you get to help them build. And that really is the heart of it. Understanding the why is the first giant step. So now that you know your child is basically operating on a different clock, driven by a different brain chemistry, what's one small thing you could do differently tomorrow to make time a little more real for them instead of just telling them to hurry up?